Well, Miss Susan. I see that we are turning to censorship now. I'm very disappointed, but I'm definitely not in the slightest bit surprised. Leafyishere was a popular, controversial, and historic YouTuber who rose to fame in around 2016. Most of you who are watching should know who and what Leafy did those prime years, but on the off chance that you don't, Leafy was a commentary and satire YouTube channel that reacted to various videos of literally anything. His commentary videos surpassed millions of views on every single upload, but this style of content also led to some major controversies in the community. Blowing up day after day with nearly all of his videos hitting the viral view mark, the channel saw massive groups of fans that honestly weren't just fans at that point. They were diehards and little clones of Leafy. Leafy got himself into many controversies during what was honestly a short time on this platform, and it all changed when YouTube decided to finally crack down on the bully channels. Leafy's popularity was already slowly dying down, but when this rule change came, his last video ever only had about 800,000 views, which shows that he was kind of on a drastic downfall once these rules were implemented. Through the controversies, to the success, to the drama, to the literal radio silence, theories were popping up everywhere and everyone wanted answers on where one of the largest YouTubers of all time was. He just disappeared like it was nothing. With that being said, we will be covering all these topics and more on why Leafy couldn't survive in today's climate. Leafy, or some know him as Calvin, started his channel back in October of 2011, but he didn't start making the noise and the content that we all knew and loved until around 2015. Through what was a very unique style for the time, Leafy's commentary videos absolutely took off, and from January of 2016 to July of 2016, Leafy went from over 600,000 subscribers to over 3 million subscribers. And throughout the month of June and July, every single video passed the 1 million view mark, and Leafy was honestly a powerhouse that could not be stopped. He had many people around him like Keemstar, Grade A, Under A, and Scarce that promoted his channel. Keemstar helped spark drama, which Leafy would be able to cover, and on reporting and promoting Leafy, all eyes were drawn towards his videos. But through multiple backstabbing issues, and Keemstar, who was once Leafy's friend, saw himself in a situation where endless hate was given to him, even though he's one of the biggest internet villains. But why did this happen, you may ask? You guessed it!
For money.
But more about that later. Leafy uploaded nearly daily and everybody would be waiting for it. But due to his content being so popular and all eyes were on him, YouTube was figuring out what the hell they needed to do. Because complaints of bullying would arise and it landed on YouTube's front doorstep. Well, now YouTube had a decision to make. Are they gonna allow bullying on their platform or make a major change to the rules? They did the latter, of course. They changed the terms of service, cut off ads for mostly all non-family friendly content, and started to take down these types of videos and channels. But again, more on that later. Leafy was definitely the biggest YouTuber at the time. Imagine you growing with tens of thousands of subscribers a day, going viral on every single video. I mean, the entire world's watching at that point, and Leafy was coined the most liked and hated man on this platform. Well, like I explained, Leafy wasn't a stranger to controversy whatsoever. I mean, Leafy welcomed that stuff. He loved the idea of it, and his channel thrived because of controversy. But trust me, my humor, nothing is off limits. But one thing contributed to a major downfall in Leafy's prime.
And I handed her eggs. Isn't that right, ma'am?
It is. Thank you. I didn't realize I put the eggs on top of the car. I appreciate that very much.
Okay, so you saved this lady's fucking eggs. Good for you, buddy. You know what? You're a fucking saint, okay? Much better than I am. But how does saving someone's eggs in the middle of a fucking Walmart parking lot turn into, let me fucking record you for my YouTube channel so everyone can see how good of a person I am? Where does it escalate to that?
Well, you see, if you're familiar with Leafy's content, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that video. But let me tell you this. The kid is autistic, and this set Leafy back a ton, because not only did hardcore fans find this bad, but of course the general public found this absolutely terrible. Leafy ended up taking down the video and making an apology to it, but in the meantime, Keemstar interviewed the man behind the video in Tommy NC 2010. This further hurt and damaged the kid by addressing popular claims that Tommy was fake crying in his videos. So at this point, everyone knew about the death threats that Tommy received. It made Leafy look really bad because he wasn't rushing to do some PR stunt, because that just wasn't Leafy's character. character, and that's what Leafy strived on, also being the villain of the internet. But Leafy ended up moving past the incident and made everything right. Tommy NC had the exposure, but there were some enemies that arrived due to this situation. Leafy was back to his old ways. He was making fun of kids, emos, weird videos, literally anything that Leafy could find to make money on. But then around 4 months later, someone who was Leafy's friend, always had his back and even hung out with him, was completely blindsided when Leafyishere in grade A under A decided to make a Keemstar exposed video series, completely assassinating Keemstar's character. And yeah, Keemstar did some bad shit in the past, but we kind of already knew everything that was in these Keemstar exposed videos, but having two massive creators team up and create a plot to destroy Keemstar definitely worked. And in the midst of this, they promoted Keemstar's rival news channel Scarce. They said that everyone should unsubscribe from problematic Keemstar and lean their attention towards Scarce. I mean, 4 years later though, Keemstar and Leafy are back to being best of friends yet again, and Leafy in his sarcastic tone has explained why he did it, and yet again, he did it
For money.
As we now know, throughout the video, back in 2016, Leafy was one of the biggest YouTubers on the platform arguably, and YouTube was now changing its ways and why and how it would enforce its rules. Advertisers were pulling out left and right, but when PewDiePie posted a video paying people on Fiverr to write "Death to all Jews" on a sign and dance around, everybody and their mama was looking at that situation. PewDiePie then uploaded the video and reacted to it in astonishment, but not in a good astonishment. He was absolutely disgusted that people would do this for $5, but of course, the mainstream media ran with the narrative that PewDiePie is a racist, anti-Semitic person. So once you have the mainstream media reporting this story, a ton more advertisers were already pulling out of the website, and this finally set YouTube off of causing the adpocalypse 1.0. Because when you see the guy with the most subscribers doing something, that honestly sets a precedent. I mean, yeah, Leafy was probably the biggest person on the platform, getting views, getting likes, getting interactions, getting people to talk, but PewDiePie had the most subscribers at the time and still does for a sole creator on the platform. But the thing about this incident is, it didn't happen until 2017, but YouTube officially made the change to support more family-friendly content in late 2016, after many commentary channels were taking over, and the so-called Leafy clones were invading the website and making the community just toxic. Everybody was making videos like Leafy, everybody was trying to speak like Leafy, everybody was commenting like Leafy. Tons of Leafy clones popped up on the site, and they had big mob mentality, like shit. They fucking bullied an autistic kid, made him cry, then bullied him more, just accusing him of fake crying. But at this time, advertisers were already pulling out of YouTube because of this, so when PewDiePie did this whole thing, that was just the last straw. But it would have never all started if it wasn't for the commentary community, which Leafy was at the helm of. I mean, I won't talk too much about the little fiasco because I already covered it, but Keem and Leafy's relationship was rocky in the past, and I love both Keemstar and Leafy, but truly, besides back in 2016, they've always been best friends. The character assassination attempt against Keemstar was literally for money, but I doubt Keem knew anything about it, and if he does, that man deserves a motherfucking Oscar because there's no way he knew about that, especially with the way he reacted in certain videos, but people claim to this day that he knew and was in on getting the money. But nah, that just does not make any sense. Keemstar was way too passionate and emotional in that situation to be acting. But shit, if he was, Keemstar, you deserve to be fucking nominated right now, dude. But anyways, after Leafy appeared on Keemstar's Baited podcast and had a heated debate where literally the two other co-hosts, Colossus Crazy and Tommy C, took a back seat, that was truly the last we ever saw of Leafy and Keemstar until earlier this year when Keemstar, Leafy, and Rice Gum united to make a clothing brand called the Axis of Evil. In the meantime though, Keemstar would periodically chime in on Leafy and where he's at. This was all happening through his Drama Alert episodes, showing that they were on decent terms at the time, but when Leafy decided to make his comeback this year, Keemstar was right there next to him. They made jokes about their past, and Keemstar even appeared in some of Leafy's videos. Leafy also made a parody to H3H3's content nuke on Keemstar, coining his content Hiroshima, Keemstar. Well, buckle the fuck up, everybody, because I haven't even mentioned H3H3 yet, but don't let that fool you. This is definitely, if not the biggest topic in here, the second biggest topic in this video. And, ooh, does slimy Ethan want to hop on the hate train like he always does? Ethan has been notorious for using people and getting rid of them on this platform, and hopping on the Leafy hate wave when the whole Tommy NC 2010 situation was happening was definitely part of Ethan's cards. Was this uncalled for? Definitely not, But H3H3 was doing the same type of content, critiquing other content creators on the website, but now it was a giant creator finally taking on Leafy. But in this video, other than talk about the Tommy NC 2010 situation, he accused Leafy of attacking vulnerable people while doing the same damn thing because Ethan is a hypocrite. They had many back and forths through video form, and other YouTubers like Pyrocynical actually covered the situation as well, which sparked hatred towards H3H3 because he was criticizing him for hypocritical behavior. H3H3 made a ton of enemies within the commentary community because of him backstabbing Leafy, who was, believe it or not, actually his friend at the time. And everyone saw this as a bogus move as Leafy has already apologized and moved on from the situation. But nope, here comes slimy ass Ethan milking the situation and his own damn friend. But whatever you think of Leafy, he did the same thing of Keemstar. So I mean, it's kind of hypocritical to defend Leafy in the situation. But the problem is, H3H3 was kind of the golden boy or the main content creator that we all looked up to at the time. He wasn't into this backstabbing shit that he is into now. But once he did this, it truly just set off the devil in H3H3 or Ethan Klein, and to this day, this man is just off the fucking rails. Well, let's just say after all this happened that H3H3 also went on to the baited podcast with, who was his friend at the time, Keemstar. He was just talking shit about Leafy and was acting like the bigger person for unlisting the Leafy video, but by then it was too late. He made his money, he made his views, he made his impact. Their relationship was, of course, ruined, and they had minor altercations through the internet, but nothing was really major. It was covered on a few drama alerts, but nothing to write home about. Now let's fast forward to this year. H3H3 constantly has Leafy living in his head. He goes on his podcast making remarks about Leafy, while Leafy still doesn't return to YouTube, therefore not really having a platform to defend himself with. Then Leafy comes back in late March, early April to a simple video about iDubbbz's girlfriend starting an OnlyFans, and how iDubbbz says he doesn't give a fuck if you jerk off to his girlfriend. And Leafy, in simple words, just said,
Dude, you're a fucking cuck.
And that was the video. But why was H3H3 so pressed?
What we do here is go back.
On September 12, 2016, iDubbbz made the almighty content cop on Leafy. And for a content cop video, this was dull and mostly filled with just jokes insulting his chin more than anything else. I enjoyed it at the time because I fucking hated Leafy, but it was still not as powerful as his other ones were. And if you guys know anything about the impact of content cops, the targeted person usually drops in hundreds and hundreds of thousands of subscribers in the first day up to the first few weeks of the video, but they lay a rebound and go back to what type of success they used to have. But this was both true and untrue for Leafy. He still averaged numbers, but it also caught Leafy in a downfall, just like that drastic rule change. And he never saw the resurgence back to the popularity of his peak, but he finally sees that back today. But that took all the way into an infamous comeback in early 2020 for that to happen. But back to H3H3. Why was he so pressed? I mean, he's very good friends with iDubbbz and surprisingly hasn't backstabbed him. But Leafy's video went viral calling his friend a cuck. It was the #1 trending thing on Twitter, and that just re-sparked H3H3's hatred for Leafy, which unironically also sparked the "I'd love to see Leafy survive in today's climate" meme. Because H3H3 was critical of Leafy's return and truly did not want to see his mortal enemy come back. Entering again, Ethan drops his content nuke on Keemstar, who's now Leafy's friend, and exposes him for, you guessed it, everything that we already fucking knew. He pretty much took a textbook page out of Leafy's Keemstar Exposed video series and used it as his own, maybe adding a few details here and there, a little bit better editing because Leafy never gave a shit. But this video had mixed opinions as it targeted sponsors and set a terrible precedent for what this website should be about, but whatever. This isn't about Ethan and Keemstar, this is about Leafy and his response to the video, because Leafy came out with the content Hiroshima and Keemstar poking fun at H3H3's video, and this upset H3H3 because his sensitive ass self was throwing shots at Leafy on the daily, and now that the trolling mastermind was back, he got under H3H3's skin so fucking bad. Leafy had been back on the platform for over 100 days when he decided to make 10 plus videos on the famous Twitch streamer Pokimane. He trolled her by referring to her as a 3 out of 10, then honestly changing his opinion to a 2 out of 10 after mocking a Keemstar tweet calling Pokimane a 2 out of 10. He mocked her for also abusing her power to get videos critiquing her taken down, and overall just not deserving her following because she's not good at any video game, he claims. He then dropped a bombshell on how she's hiding a boyfriend from the world and that tier 3 subs are being lied to. They're not gonna going to get any chance at Pokimane. And this was honestly the climax of the situation, and that was only in the first video, but it ended up trending on Twitter, and the Pokimane story was huge. Leafy, being the businessman he is, he clickbaited the fuck out of everybody and used the situation as much as he could until the day he was terminated. Say what you want about her, and I strongly dislike Pokimane, and if she ends up seeing this, my channel will probably be terminated, but one thing is, she's hardworking. Now, I'm fucking joking. Her content is straight garbage, and that's why Leafy went after her, because she's such a hypocrite. That's besides the point. Let me stop myself right there. These 10 plus videos on her are what we suspected got Leafy's channel taken down. It was there 1 second, gone the next. He went to sleep, had a conversation with Keemstar, was terminated, and woke up to a text from Keemstar saying that his channel was terminated. He had no clue this was coming. Could this be classified as harassment? I mean, sure, but did he deserve this overnight with no warning? Hell fucking no. Leafy may have been back and making content similar as what he was before, but he always and only attacked and went after public figures, because if he made a video on kids, he had literally no chance at surviving. But how does making over 10 videos on Pokimane lead to a suspension? Is she a public figure? Do all the late night talk show hosts make fun of Trump every single day? But are they allowed a platform on YouTube? Yes, and that's a major double standard as why Leafy should have never gotten taken down. He didn't get a single warning, but these beloved late night talk show hosts literally do this every single night about the President of the United States. Pokimane said she had nothing to do with the takedown, but is it far-fetched considering what she's done in the past, taking down videos? I mean, yes, it's nearly impossible she did it herself. With the help of her management team, I'm sure she could have done something, but she shut down those rumors on Twitter, and we just have to honestly give her the benefit of the doubt. I mean, as much as I, and probably you guys, don't like Pokimane, it is what it is. I mean, we just have to believe her at this point. Leafy definitely still deserves to be around in today's current landscape, as he never went after anybody but public figures with an audience who could defend themselves. But at the end of the day, YouTube is a private company, so they aren't breaking any law or amendment by doing this, but they are 100% censoring free speech, and taking away that right is critical on this platform. H3H3, Pokimane, any Leafy hater should not be celebrating this move. I mean, because I know you and Susan have a great relationship, H3, but that just shows that this could happen to anybody on the platform. Literally anything. No warning, you're just clapped because YouTube said, fuck you. I didn't really like Leafy for the longest time whatsoever, but I started to be on his side once everyone turned against him, and even the system, including YouTube. So I was rooting for him. He himself sees it as a win, surviving 143 days on this platform, but it's a big loss for everybody because Leafy was literally censored for no reason and overnight. A few feelings were hurt over some valid criticism, but that's not allowed in 2020. Everybody has to be uptight and a great person. I'd love to see Leafy's channel come back, and it's Monday as I'm recording this video. People are back in the office, but still no word if YouTube's going to bring it back, and I truly doubt it. YouTube is shady and lets Logan Paul film dead bodies and post it on their platform, and other YouTubers with serious criminal charges roam free on this platform. YouTube is more obsessed about taking Gokanaru's video on H3H3 down than it is with taking down literal killings and child pornography on this platform. But you do you, YouTube. We're all just here to enjoy the ride.